If you live in Massachusetts, you might have just watched up to 4.5 inches of rain fall on your neighborhood. It feels like plenty of water, but state officials looked at that same rainfall and still declared a severe, widespread drought. The Massachusetts Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs has officially enacted Level 2 and Level 3 drought declarations across almost the entire state. This chart shows Massachusetts rainfall over a 24-month period compared to the historical average, revealing a massive multi-year deficit. The state has been operating with below-average precipitation for 2 full years. A few days of heavy storms simply cannot refill a deficit this deep. When we compress the timeline to look at just the last 3 to 6 months, the drop-off is even steeper. Areas like the islands have received only 32 to 50% of their normal rainfall. Surface puddles trick our perception. True drought metrics depend on long-term data and the critical lack of moisture deep underground. The problem is compounded by evapotranspiration. That is the process where high summer heat pulls existing moisture out of the soil and plants, evaporating it back into the air. When you combine that rapid loss with a lack of incoming rain, stream flows drop and groundwater reserves empty out. Those underground reserves do not respect town borders. Every well, pipe, and reservoir ultimately draws from a network of shared river basins. Because of this geographic connection, a severe water shortage in one municipality puts direct pressure on the water security of the neighboring towns drawing from that exact same basin. This systemic vulnerability means the state cannot leave conservation entirely up to individual towns. They rely on a unified, tiered drought management plan to regulate a shrinking, shared resource. This map outlines the specific drought management regions established by the state to track and respond to water levels. Right now, the Western, Connecticut River Valley, Central, Southeast, and Cape Cod and Island regions are locked in a Level 2 significant drought. At Level 2, the core strategy is minimization. The state sets specific reduction targets for both residents and local governments to voluntarily curb water use. For residents, this means limiting the washing of hard surfaces like driveways and holding off on washing cars or boats. But the primary target is indoors. Fixing dripping faucets and running toilets is critical, accounting for 60% of indoor water waste. Municipalities are required to step up as well. They must establish clear water use reduction targets for their communities and implement seasonal water rates or drought surcharges to financially discourage heavy use. Level 2 acts as a buffer. It is a concerted effort to stabilize the water basin through structured minimization, attempting to avoid the aggressive government prohibitions triggered at the next tier. But the Northeast region has crossed that threshold. It has escalated to a Level 3 critical drought. At Level 3, the strategy shifts entirely from minimization to strict prohibition. The state now requires affected communities to implement a total, immediate ban on all non-essential outdoor water use. That means zero lawn watering and a strict prohibition on planting new grass or landscaping. Indoors, the guidance becomes much more aggressive. Residents are instructed to take short showers instead of baths, run only completely full dishwashers, and actively monitor their water meters for constant dial movement to catch hidden leaks. Local governments must actively enforce these restrictions, hitting top water users with increasingly stringent financial penalties for noncompliance. A Level 3 declaration means the basin is approaching a breaking point. The state restricts individual outdoor water privileges to ensure there is enough water left in the system for basic, essential indoor survival needs. Massachusetts has seen what happens when these levels fail. In 2016, the state hit a Level 4 warning, leading to widespread agricultural losses and severe environmental damage. In the 1960s, conditions deteriorated into a full drought emergency. There is a common misconception that residents with private wells are insulated from these municipal restrictions. They aren't. Because all water is pulled from the same regional basin, a private well is directly impacted by the surrounding drought. A private well sputtering out is actually an early warning system for broader regional water failure. State guidelines mandate that if your private well runs dry, you must report it to your local Board of Health immediately so they can track the basin's decline. For everyone else, the immediate actions are clear. Check local water restrictions, evaluate total household usage, and monitor your monthly bills for sudden spikes that indicate silent leaks. These drought levels function as an escalation ladder, a process that only stops when collective, statewide conservation begins.